Hello everyone! I'm back once again for more best-sounding albums that I'm recommending to audiophiles. This is now part 2 of Season 2. I know different people have different tastes in music, so I tried to mix up the genre so that there is something here for most people. On this video, I will present a theatrical album from a cult artist, a sunny pop album from a country singer-songwriter, an album from a legendary trumpet player and his band, a masterpiece album of spiritual jazz, and a classic album by session musicians. I will list only 5 albums on this video, and I will share some more albums on my next videos. So here are the albums for this video in no particular order. First is Rain Dogs by Tom Waits. This is the 9th studio album by American singer-songwriter Tom Waits, released in September 1985. Despite recording for large labels along with big commercial acts for his entire career and regarded as one of America's best songwriters, Tom Waits is considered a cult artist. He is known for his gravelly voice, eccentric production methods, and exotic instrumentation, and these attributes makes him an acquired taste. Rain Dogs is about dispossessed people in New York City. Waits described this as people lost after heavy rain washes away their scent, preventing them from finding their way home. It is generally considered the middle album of a trilogy that includes Swordfish Trombones and Frank Wild Years. Produced in a raw experimental style featuring guitarists Keith Richards and Mark Ribot, it mixes blues, cabaret, and New Orleans-style funeral music. In preparation for the album, Waits recorded street sounds and other ambient noises on a cassette recorder to get the sound of the city. A wide range of instruments was employed to achieve the album's sound, including marimba, accordion, double bass, trombone, and banjo. The album is notable for its organic sound and the natural means by which it was achieved. But the music revolves around the drums. Waits experimented with a drum setup with few or no cymbals. He amplified the low end with a 32-inch bass drum better suited for a marching band to create darkness and drama. The track Downtown Train was covered by Rod Stewart and was a big hit, but my favorite is Hang Down Your Head, which was also covered by Lucinda Williams. Next is Golden Hour by Kacey Musgraves. This is the 4th studio album by American country music singer Kacey Musgraves, released on March 2018. Singer-songwriter Kacey Musgraves started her career in early 2000s. Although labeled as country singer, her singing style is different from popular lady singers in country music genre. Her delivery is gentle, relaxed, more conversational, and intimate. She blends traditional country storytelling with pop and folk influences. She does not belt out high notes, and she is good in expressing empathy on her songs. The album was produced by Kacey with multi-instrumentalists Ian Fitchuk and Daniel Tashian. It was recorded at Sheryl Crow's Big Green Barn studio in Nashville, Tennessee, and at Sound Emporium. The album features a lush sound, blending country pop with disco and electronica, achieved through innovative processing by engineer Sean Everett. The album has a polished production, with the details in the arrangement being there to enhance the vocals and not to empower them. Although people categorize this album as folk and country, it doesn't quite fall into the usual country or country pop stylings. The instrumentals are light, but there is emotional depth to the lyrics and Kacey's singing style. The vocal recordings are exceptionally clear. I will describe this album as a happier version of Beck's album Sea Change. My favorite is Oh What a World. This song is catchy and will make you start swaying along to the laid-back rhythm. Next is Whipped Cream and Other Delights by Herb Alpert's Tijuana Brass. This is the 4th album by Herb Alpert and the Tijuana Brass, released by A&M Records in April 1965. American musician Herb Alpert led the band Herb Alpert and the Tijuana Brass in the 1960s. Herb Alpert, who began playing trumpet as a child, was hooked on Dizzy Gillespie, Miles Davis, and other jazz greats. He developed the idea for the Tijuana brass while taking in a bullfight across the border, then rehearsing in his garage to find a definable sort of swing that merged mariachi with Caribbean and South American Latin jazz. The Tijuana brass at the time of this recording are all members of the famous session musicians Wrecking Crew. They played in many studio recordings in the 1960s and 70s. Whipped Cream and Other Delights was recorded between 1964 and 1965 at Gold Star Studios in Los Angeles. The CD I have is 2015 remastered by Bernie Grundman, and the album's sound is rich. Every cut on this album was intended to be a food title except for one track. The music features mostly instrumental arrangements of popular songs and saw the band almost abandoning its Mexican-themed music from their previous 3 albums. This album is the #1 album in 1966, outselling even the Beatles, Frank Sinatra, and the Rolling Stones. One tradition of their band was to include a number rendered in striptease fashion, and this album's entry for that style was Love Potion No. 9, which is one of the more popular tracks on this album. But my favorite track is A Taste of Honey. This track has the best sound quality on this album, and Herb Alpert's trumpet tone is warm, full, and absolutely swings. Next is Universal Consciousness by Alice Coltrane. This is the 5th studio album by American jazz musician Alice Coltrane, released in September 1971. Alice Coltrane is a composer, band leader, and Hindu spiritual leader. She is an accomplished pianist and one of the few harpists in the history of jazz. She is one of the foremost proponents of spiritual jazz. Her eclectic music proved influential both within and outside the world of jazz. Her previous albums pushed the limits of spiritual free jazz, but Universal Consciousness expands her compositions with organ and strings. It was a natural progression from her previous albums, A Monastic Trio, which is a celebration of her late husband, the legendary John Coltrane, and her most well-known record, Journey in Satchidananda. While traveling through India, she encountered devotional hymns known as bhajans, which will become foundation to her later works. Although Journey in Satchidananda had already featured tambura playing by Tulsi Reynolds, she experienced music that featured sitar, veena, harmonium, and shruti box in India. So she started composing music that wouldn't be reliant on breath or strummed strings. The album is more than 36 minutes long, and I would say it's a challenging listen and is very free jazz oriented. But it can keep you entertained with its wide-ranging soundscape that feels richer and more complex than more popular jazz albums. The track Battle at Armageddon to me is remarkable, with the intense duet between Alice at organ and harp and Rashid Ali on drums. And last but not the least is Toto IV by Toto. This is the 4th studio album by American rock band Toto, released on April 1982. Toto Band are masters of combining rock, soul, funk, R&B, blues, and jazz into pop classics. They were busy throughout 1981 and early 1982 as they balanced making their own music and their commitment as session musicians. The players in Toto's lineup had been contributing to a lot of hit records by other artists since mid-70s. And in 1982, they played and can also be heard on albums Chicago 16 and Thriller by Michael Jackson. After trying to prove that they are arena rock band on their previous 2 albums, they decided to double down on lush production and radio-ready melodies for their 4th album. Most band members contributed to the songwriting, and they were given a much larger than average recording budget that allowed for cutting-edge studio technology and with a big group of outside musicians. Recording took place across several months in 1981 and 1982, and at a time when most bands were using a single 24-track recorder, Toto used as many as 3 separate 24-track recorders simultaneously. The multiple 24-track recorders were linked by a computerized timecode system. I won't go into details, but basically this recording process lowered the amount of wear on the first generation tapes and helped maintain high quality sound during the extensive overdubbing and mixing process. You are probably familiar with Rosanna and Africa, which are all great, but you should also listen to Make Believe. Guitarist and vocalist Steve Lukather, the only original member who still records and tour with the band, told Ultimate Classic Rock, "We just decided to kill that one, and we did. We were really proud of it. We had the full London strings. We just went, F this. We're gonna go for it, and with the biggest, most obnoxiously overproduced record of all time, and it turns out that's what we do best." And that's my 5 CDs that I will recommend on Season 2's Part 2 of my video series about best hi-fi albums for audiophiles. Please subscribe if you like this kind of topic, and that will inspire me to continue sharing more great albums for audiophiles. These are a list of my favorite and recommended hi-fi albums for your listening pleasure and music that can also be used when auditioning hi-fi equipment. I hope you enjoyed this selection and discover something new. Let me know your favorite and recommended hi-fi albums as well. Happy listening!